Hello and welcome to this edition of City Hall Insider. I'm Jim Marshall of the New Bedford Cable Network, and a busy show today, a couple of guests. Ashley Payne is joining us for the first segment of the show. She is the Director of Tourism and Marketing for the City of New Bedford. Liza Rebello, who is the New Bedford Public Health Nursing Director, will join us after the break. So lots of things coming up. It is winter time. We are hitting the holiday season, and just a sort of a busy time for the city right now.
It sure is. I always say that, we're always very busy in my department, but this time of year especially with all of the holiday happenings.
So right off the bat, when you look at it, there are some things, New Bedford always does a great job of getting the holidays. After Thanksgiving, it really kicks into high gear. It's a longer period between Thanksgiving and Christmas this year. I think it's an extra week, as a matter of fact.
Great for shopping.
Exactly. The big thing is obviously the Christmas tree lighting always kicks things off for the holiday season here in the city.
That's right. So we are doing the Christmas tree lighting this year in downtown New Bedford on December 9th. That'll be our tree lighting.
So that's a Saturday night, and it's always a great show, if you will.
It is, and this year we have some really special programming happening during the tree lighting. We have New Bedford Festival Theater. They are bringing one of their Broadway performers to come lead a sing-along with the audience.
And for those who don't know the song, there might be some help there for them? Yes,
there will be printed booklets in case you might have forgotten a word or two to these Christmas classics.
Always a big crowd that goes to the Christmas tree lighting. It always is a well-attended event.
It's such a great event. It kicks off with the parade down William, and then you have the tree lighting ceremony. It really is a great time.
And that weekend is super because the next night, too, Klasky Common Park has its lighting as well, the festival lights over there.
That's right. So it'll be the day after the tree lighting, a really great opportunity to bring the kids, see the lights, run around the park.
Santa will be there. He always is. And the great thing is my kids, when they were little, they always called it the Christmas park. But they always love going to Klasky just to see the different animation and things that go on there, the electronic things. It's unbelievable, put together by the students at Greater New Bedford Voc Tech.
It's so great because you think about, typically you would have to go somewhere and be charged admission to go see something like this. We just have it here in New Bedford for the community.
Actually, that's a good point. A lot of things, when you do that, you got to pay to get in. In Klasky, it's free.
It's there for you.
Yeah, absolutely. The Christmas holiday actually kicks off a little earlier. Again, we've got more time, but you have the downtown stroll, which is always a great event, highlighting just the downtown.
Yeah, so Holiday Stroll is December 2nd this year. That's an event presented by DNB Inc., which is a really great organization that supports the downtown businesses. They do a really great job with this event. There's going to be rides for the kids. There's Santa will be there as well, and just a really great time to kick off your holiday spirit. Get your shopping started. It's always great to shop small, and New Bedford has some really great shops to offer.
It's an all-day thing, too.
It is 12 to 5, so you have plenty of opportunity to make it downtown for this event.
Exactly. So that's just the first couple of weekends right there, and then I know for the city, for the year, something that you've been working hard on, City celebrates on New Year's Eve. And I might be mistaken, but I do think it's the only sort of New Year's Eve celebration going on in southeastern Massachusetts, but certainly a great opportunity just to enjoy New Bedford on New Year's Eve.
It really is. So we host free family-friendly programming downtown, and it is a really great opportunity to get the kids out and enjoy some fun activities and entertainment. It's early in the evening, so 5 to 8 p.m., so you don't have to worry about being out late with the kids. You can wear them out running around. And then we finish the night at 8:30. Typically with a fireworks show, but this year we're going to do something a little different. We are going to have the city's first drone show. I
didn't even know what that is, but okay.
So we'll have A company is coming out and they are going to fly 100 drones that all have lights on them. They're going to be moving around in different shapes. You'll see some really great animations with these drones. It's the same length of time for the show that we would have with the fireworks. The big thing that is different between the fireworks and the drone show is the viewing area. So it's really important that we let everyone know that the best place to see this drone show will be in downtown New Bedford, right along Union Street. Lower Union, we're going to have the street closed off so you can safely stand there, watch the show, and celebrate the new year with your family.
So the drones themselves, where do they take off from?
They will be launching from State Pier.
Okay.
That whole area will not be accessible for viewers, and you wouldn't want to be down there anyway because you would not be able to see the show properly from down near the water.
The other thing too with City Celebrates, it's for all ages. I mean, if you're a couple, there's things for you to do. If you're a family, there's things for you to do. That's one of the events that, unlike, for example, the Christmas tree, which is just one thing, there's so many different things going on, but so many different ages are accounted for when you're talking about the events.
That's right. We strategically plan our programming so that it is accessible for all ages. We also are hosting some adult-friendly programming, a jazz band over at the New Bedford Harbor Hotel. So if you don't want to be around kids running around, you can go right over there, enjoy a really great jazz trio. So something for everyone.
The other thing too is, as you know, when we took our kids down, you almost have to have a game plan as a parent if you've got little ones. We're hitting this at this time, this at this time. But you guys usually do a great job of sort of having a map or something that shows here's where we're going at this particular time.
We will. So we'll have plenty of information available both on our website, destinationnewbedford.org, as well as printed maps with a lineup of the programming available throughout the city. We'll have them available in the libraries as well, or you can always stop into our office at City Hall.
So obviously all those events are great and great opportunities. The city, though, I mean, as you're coming into the winter months, I think it's a great opportunity to see some things that you might not see from April till October when a lot of people are outdoors. There's a lot of things and a lot of places people might not know about.
That's right, and we have so much to offer for whatever you may be looking for. If you're into history, if you're into arts and culture, if you're into food and beverage, there are so many different things to experience in New Bedford. There's something for everyone. We have really great museums in this city. Some smaller museums people might not even know about. The Art Museum, Fishing Heritage Center, the Military Museum, so many places to experience. And then if you're looking for a great bite to eat, we have some of the best restaurants in the South Coast, so you can't go wrong.
Exactly. And it's a lot of things are going to be indoors now. The weather's getting colder, so this is the perfect time to go there. And as you mentioned off camera earlier, I mean, the zoo is still open. It's a great place to...
I still take my kids during the winter, run off some energy, right. And it's a small enough zoo that you can enjoy it within an hour's time and get the benefits of it.
And those are the type of venues that are drawing people into the city on these things. When you're looking at Christmas or just these sort of museums that you're talking about, you know, they're attractions for people from not only in the city but outside the city to come in and enjoy something different. That's
right. And you know, these attractions are always hosting their own events as well. So you can always check out our event calendar on our website. There's always something happening in the city. It's a really great resource for information about what to do during the week, on the weekends. Things you might not know are happening, you can find it right there on the event calendar. I know we have a couple of minutes left. I want to touch upon, obviously, we're talking about the winter, but you're already thinking, your mind is already looking at July and August of 2024. How does next year look as far as events things go for you? So we have been already in the planning stages for summer 2024. We will be bringing back the Summer Sound Series. We got really great feedback from the community. They love being able to come out onto the street and enjoy free concerts throughout the summer. We'll be adding a few additional concerts to the lineup this year because people want to be in New Bedford. We have a great relationship with the arts and culture partners throughout this city, and we are working with them on, the planning of their events and collaboration and how we can really get the word out. So I don't have any specific events that I could talk about now, but I can say we have some great things lined up.
Any thought with the Zeitering being renovated right now, how that impacts events?
Sure. I mean, it definitely will have an impact with the building being closed, but they're still hosting programming throughout the city, just in different locations. So it's really great because you'll be able to experience a Zeiterian show outside of their space and maybe in an area of the city that you haven't been before.
And before I let you go, I'm just kind of curious how you think this past summer went.
I think this past summer went really well. We are starting to see visitation exceed pre-COVID levels, which can't complain with that. It's really great for the economy to see visitation growing. The trends are only showing that it's going to keep growing.
Is that like that everywhere though? Are you seeing that people are finally starting to go out?
Yeah, we especially saw it in summer of 2022 that people were just looking for things to do to get out of the house, and that's been growing steadily. We also find that with the travel trends, people are looking for smaller cities and places to enjoy, and New Bedford has that authentic experience, that small business community and culture and art that people are looking for when they're booking their trips.
You've always kind of touched upon it's, New Bedford is sort of that weekend sort of destination, that Thursday through Sunday sort of thing that people should, come and enjoy. It's a, 3 or 4 day thing. And that's probably, I think that's what you probably sell when you're out there trying to get people to come or market to get people to come.
Absolutely. There is a lot to experience in this city. We're also a great gateway to other areas of the South Coast, the islands, Martha's Vineyard and Nantucket. We have the ferry right here. But what we always try and tell people is, sure, take the ferry over to the islands, but come back to New Bedford. You're going to save yourself a lot of money staying in our hotels, and you'll still have so many great things to experience while you're here.
Just time now for people who have questions or what have you. How can they find out about all this going on, and if they have any questions for you?
Check out our website, destinationnewbedford.org. We're also on Facebook, Instagram. You can email us, tourism@newbedford-ma.gov.
It's our friend Ashley Payne. Thanks for coming in.
Thank
Busy
you.
time.
Happy holidays.
We'll be right back with Liza Rebello from the Health Department in just a moment.
Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Hello and welcome back to City Hall Insider. Jim Marshall of the New Bedford Cable Network, and with us for the second half of the program, our friend Liza Rebello from the New Bedford Public Health Department. I want to make sure I get your title right because I always mess it up. You are the Health Nursing Director.
Correct. Yep.
And you stab me every year, so that's a good thing.
I do.
The flu shot. That's our joke. Her payback for me when you when you have to come on TV is that she gets to stab me. So it works out for everybody.
It's a fair deal.
It's a fair deal. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
This time of year, obviously, as we just talked to Ashley about all the holidays and gatherings and all that. We got to talk flu season. We got to talk still COVID. There's still things that people have to be careful of, and just take precautions. But it just comes with the territory as we head into the winter months.
Absolutely.
How does the flu season overall look as we start right now?
Yeah. So far, flu activity throughout the state of Massachusetts has been in the low range. That's not to say that it can't change next week, and it's not to say that it's not out there yet. So there are still cases, but we haven't reached the point where transmission is like in the moderate to high range. But like you said, that often comes as the weather gets colder, as people are congregating inside, gathering for holidays. So in terms of vaccination, it's a really great time to do it now in advance of seeing a spike, starting to get together in larger groups.
I know people get concerned about the flu shot. They don't know, what is it? And I mean, it's a pretty simple thing, and it's usually pretty effective.
Right. It's very safe. It's been around for a very long time. I think sometimes there's hesitation because you could get some side effects from it. You can feel kind of lousy the next day, a little achy. But usually those side effects just last a day or two for most people. And in comparison to the illness you'd feel if you got the actual flu, it's generally pretty mild. It is recommended in nearly everyone 6 months and older.
And the one thing too, I think with the flu shot and with we were talking about with COVID, it's not so much that it prevents it, but it lessens the impact of the flu.
Yep. So you still may come in contact with the virus if you're out in the community around other people. So you still may get the flu, but the intention of the flu vaccine is to boost immunity in your body so that you can fight that virus when you are exposed to it. So that you don't have severe symptoms. It keeps you out of the hospital. It helps you recover quicker.
And one thing that we were talking about off camera, which is interesting, my wife being a principal, you've got kids. Mm-hmm. It seems like it is there right now.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the flu season, you can't ignore it right now.
Yeah. I mean, just anecdotally, I was with my children at the doctor the other day, and they said they're seeing everything. They're seeing COVID, they're seeing flu, RSV, strep. I get the sense that things are picking up.
Right,
Yep.
and as you said, I mean, the whole point of having you talk about this today is, as we said, the weather's getting colder. People are going to be in.
Yep.
You need to take precautions.
Yeah.
You need to.
Yep.
COVID is still out there.
Yes.
Where do we stand with it right now?
So for COVID, like you said, it's still out there. We continue to see different variants become more prominent as time goes on. In comparison to when we were in the peak of the pandemic, 2020, 2021, 2022, when you compare it to those, cases are relatively low. But we are seeing, smaller spikes. We saw one when school went back in session and kids were gathering. So, like you said, it's definitely still out there. When you compare it to previous years, it might not seem so bad, but people are still getting it. People are still being hospitalized with it. So.
And there is a vaccine. I know it's tough to get, though, right now.
Yep. So the FDA recently, I believe early October, approved the 2023 season vaccine. So that all previous vaccines are no longer being given. It's just this one vaccine. So everyone 6 months and older is recommended to get this new updated vaccine.
How much, if somebody says to you, Liza, I'm up to date on all my COVID shots up till now.
Yeah.
Does that make a difference?
It's great that you got those, but you're no longer up to date and protected against the most current variant if you haven't got this new one. So it seems like we'll get to a place with COVID vaccines where there's going to be this, like the flu shot, this seasonal, every fall, an updated version. And so it is great if people have got the previous ones, but if you're hoping to be protected through vaccination right now, then it is important to go get this latest one.
And you were telling me off camera too, it's still important for those vulnerable people
Correct.
to really try to get an appointment to
Yeah.
get that shot.
Yeah. So all of these respiratory viruses that we're talking about, it can affect very young people worse. It can affect the elderly population, which is defined as 65 and older. Anyone who's immunocompromised,
Right.
has any underlying medical conditions, those are often groups that it's extra important for them to seek vaccination.
And it's important, obviously, it's not something, we were talking about the access to it. Flu shots you can get.
Yep.
A lot of pharmacies have the COVID shot right now, or I guess try with your local physicians.
Yeah, for any of these vaccines, we recommend start with your primary care doctor. A lot of primary care offices try to keep them in stock so they can vaccinate their patient population. Commercial pharmacies are a great place, CVS, Walgreens. You can usually do walk-ins or try to get an appointment with them. Some urgent cares, the health center
Right.
in New Bedford, so those are some different spots. The health department also, we have flu vaccine available, and we have our in-home vaccination program. So any residents who are homebound or have difficulty getting out in the community, getting to CVS, waiting in line, transportation issues, if that is your situation, you reach out to us and we get an appointment for us to come into the home and
that's
give you your
great.
vaccine. Yeah.
Switching gears just a little bit, RSV, which I was completely ignorant of when you walked into the studio today. What is it? And as you said, this is the first time that there was actually a vaccine for this.
Yeah. So RSV is another very common respiratory virus that we see peak at this time of year. The FDA recently approved a vaccine for it. I'm recommending people, if they're interested in that, speak to your doctor to see if you're eligible. It's recommended for infants, elderly, immunocompromised, pregnant women, because the thought is that the immunity transfers to the baby once they're born. So there are certain groups that are eligible for this new vaccine against RSV.
What's the difference from RSV to, say, the flu, if people don't know? And again, I don't know.
Yeah, it's just a different virus.
Okay.
So it causes a lot of the same symptoms. RSV tends to be a little bit more heavier in terms of like respiratory symptoms.
Okay.
But they're just viruses that tend to peak during this time of year that unfortunately have a bigger impact on those different population groups that I mentioned.
And we go back, and those population groups, and it's, for all these viruses, they're common, those age groups really, to get those vaccinations.
Yeah. And it's, we stress the importance among those different age groups, but it's not to say that someone like myself who doesn't fall within one of those categories, you can still get it and feel incredibly sick from it, and it can knock you out put you out of work for quite some time.
Right, yeah.
So it's not to say that if you aren't in one of those categories that you're immune to it. It really, it can affect anyone.
Right. I wanted to touch base, we got like 4 minutes left, but I wanted to touch base too, because I know this time of year is tough, and mental health is such an issue. I know the health department has always been involved with that. It's not something, unfortunately, that you can treat with a vaccine or anything like that, but especially this time of year, this is something that people really have to be on the lookout for, especially with loved ones.
Yeah, and I think, the pandemic kind of heightened the concerns around mental health, with people having to isolate and changes to their general lifestyle. But yes, winter seasons, holiday seasons can often be triggering for mental health. I think it's important to check on your loved ones, elderly populations who may be more isolated in their homes. Make sure that you're checking on folks. If it's affecting you yourself, seeking treatment for it, seeking help. There's no shame in getting the support that you need.
Right, it's important. And like you said, this time of year, it's just exasperate. It's because it's just they're so inside, isolated.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a huge difference between being outside in the summertime and
even just the difference in weather. When it's sunny, it can help your mood, whereas when it's not there, it can be have the opposite effect.
And that goes, we talk mental health, but physical health too. Just, it's harder for people to go out and do physical activity, but the city really promotes wellness for their employees, and just in general, you really do need to take the time to take care of yourself.
Yeah, exactly. They go hand in hand, the physical health, the mental health.
I don't think people grasp that a lot. I don't think people understand that.
Yeah, they're definitely connected. It's hard with the climate we live in. It brings you more indoors, and that can be challenging, but I think it's important to kind of find little ways to keep up with your routine, keep up with your goals that you have for yourself, even if you have to adapt them in the winter months.
It's funny because, and just in your field, you see it with people is that, your New Year's resolutions and stuff like that, I want to do this, but it's hard to do that in January.
Yeah, you're right.
But it's important.
Yeah, but I think the key to that too is you could set a goal or a resolution for yourself, but if you get off track, I think it's important to not be so hard on yourself. Be kind to yourself. It is challenging. It's a tough time of year. So if you set a goal and one day you don't meet that goal, try not to let it, snowball into a different effect. Stay on track. Be kind to yourself.
And I just want to give you a quick chance to talk about, obviously we've talked about all this stuff, but eating right now.
Mm-hmm.
We're coming up to the holidays, and I know people overindulge,
Yeah.
which probably isn't the wisest thing.
Yeah, but on that vein, I think being kind to yourself, it is a time where people indulge a little bit more, and as long as you don't carry that, after the holiday season, and you continue to stay on track with whatever goal is right for you, I think that's what's important. But yeah, you can do little things, try not to restrict yourself too much, but maybe you add a fruit or a vegetable, or try to focus on your sleep, your hydration.
Those are the colored things, right? The green things?
Exactly.
Right. For people who have questions, the website, you guys have a lot of information on your website. How can they check it out?
Yeah, so we have info up on our website. We actually link to the Massachusetts Department of Public Health. They launched a respiratory illness dashboard this year where you can check out the different parts of the states and what the transmission level, and it covers COVID, flu, RSV. So that's on their website, and we link to it, and they update it every week. So it's a great resource if you're wondering what's happening in my community with these viruses.
And the website is pretty easy to find. It's on the city's website too.
Exactly.
So
yep.
It's great seeing you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in. Liza Rebello, our guest in this segment of the show. My thanks to Ashley for coming in earlier. That's going to do it for this edition of City Hall Insider. I'm Jim Marshall of the New Bedford Cable Network. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Every day,
millions of people are connecting.
And even though we're overcoming obstacles,
watching each other's backs,
and banding together,
we should still make an effort.
To get to know each other
on a deeper level.
Father,
cosplayer,
mentor,
actor.
It's time we take a step forward.
It's time we take a step forward.
Come together
and discover
how accepting our differences
can make us stronger.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. He sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. Basically, he had to relearn everything. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey.